Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and today, yes, we continue with our Star Trek Day Tribute Part 10. And this time, we are back on the USS Enterprise F, aka the Yorktown. Captains, Part 10 already. This has been an awesome series. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, first and foremost, captains, for not checking only this video, but the other videos in this series. But we are going to do the tributes on the Odyssey class, most specifically the Yorktown. So what we're going to do, captains, is go over the nostalgia nugget you get when you hail the Enterprise F, then go over the video where we're going to grab the inspiration for the build, go over the build itself, weapons, space set, console, traits, stations, DOFs, and then take it into an Elite Argala. And we'll explain why. I know, captains, this is the only one that we've done Elite on, but there's a reason why. So here we go. Now, captains, I will be 100% honest with you. When I first started Star Trek Online and found out that the Odyssey class was sort of the flagship, I was not 100% on board with it. For some reason, the split neck kind of bugged me, the way that the saucer was and the nacelles, it just didn't sit right. But when the Yorktown variant came out, 100% I was sold. It didn't even take long. So huge shout out as well to Thomas Marone for the work he'd done on this ship. It is gorgeous. As you can see, captains, we are going to just stick with the Yorktown class, but it is just a very good looking ship, and it is worthy of carrying the name Enterprise F, in my opinion. And I hope we get to see this on screen still in Star Trek Picard, but only time will tell, and or in any future Star Trek series that we have going. So here we go. View the USS Enterprise NCC 1701F.
Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600.
Yes, so that is Captain Vakel Shone of the USS Enterprise here in Star Trek Online. So, the flagship of Starfleet, the Enterprise F, has served during some of the most tumultuous years in Federation history. From the war with the Klingon Empire to the catastrophic battles of the Iconian War, the conflict with the Zenkethi and the Herc, and the current troubles in the Klingon Empire. It's hard to believe this ship has only been in service for 2 years. In 2409, she launched under the command of Vakel Shone and has been keeping us safe ever since. We at this museum hope that as long as there is a Federation, there will be a ship to bear the name Enterprise. I do like that little nugget. I do. Notable crew members, of course, Vakel Shone, Samuel Winters, Jarell Cav, Tem Inasi, Saval, Philippia, Matthias, Kiona, and Kiriyoshi O'Brien. So Star Trek Online launched to February 2010. 185 episodes as of this writing. I love that. We hope you've enjoyed visiting the Star Trek Museum and for helping us celebrate more than 50 years of the franchise. We live in one of the greatest eras of Trek, with more shows, comics, novels, and video games coming every day. And it has been an honor to keep that fire burning in Star Trek Online. Thank you for spending the time with us. And here's to many more years of the final frontier. Yes, so captains, we're gonna go check out the video that we took inspiration from. So let's do that right now. So on screen. Now, captains, this video actually specifically is Star Trek Online, talking about the Yorktown class Star Cruiser, and it's an official breakdown because this was actually a collaboration with Space Dock. So captains, I will link this video below. Do us a favor, head over to Space Dock's YouTube channel and get your command codes verified, aka subscribe to his YouTube channel. Now, I'm still not going to play the video just in case there's some copyright issues going on here, but again, we took the inspiration from this video, and here you go. So again, the Yorktown class here. So armament, 21 Mark 15 phaser array, or 14 actually, it says there, 14, I should say. Arrays, 6 variable payload torpedo launchers, and 3 unified field emitters. Now, we're not going to be able to fit 21 phasers on here, but again, we're only going for the looks. And again, we'll sort of go over that when we go to the video here of what we're going for. And it is here in this video clip. Now, some nuggets that we'll go over here. The role here, reconnaissance star cruiser, multi-role explorer, super capital starship, command vessel. Keep that in mind, Caps. So there's that. And with this, there is a theme that we're going to go with this. And the theme, of course, is this Enterprise F based off of this. But it's also Star Trek Online. So we are going to go full out theme here based on this. So one of the scenes here is that we'll take inspiration from is, well, of course, it has an Aquarius in its aft. What? Yes. So it included in this video. So guess what, Caps? We are going to use that along with this feature here, which is the saucer separation. Yep, we will use that, Captains, as well. Now, the other scene here. Now, I didn't even realize that they had the Lexington variants in here, but it's a great video, Captains. It explains what they did here, how they got it into the sort of different classes here of the Odyssey. Highly, highly recommend watching this video. But they showed this, but we're not using this variant, not this time. Maybe in a future video, Captains. Of course, it is just showing how it's shooting just a crap ton of photons. So again, we're going to still use that as inspiration, it having photons, but that's usually standard with Federation technology. But this particular one, it does have a phaser lance. Again, not going to use it in this particular build. But this is where we're going to take the inspiration in terms of pew-pew wise, which is this scene right here. Love this one too, by the way. So here comes the Enterprise coming in with its phaser and quantum torpedo launchers. So that is sort of the inspiration there. So we know it's going to have phasers. We know it has quantums, but we also know it has photons, Federation technology. So that is where we grab the inspiration from now to get back onto the bridge here and go over the build. And here is what we did with it, Captains. So we are using the legendary Command Dreadnought cruiser. And yes, this has been T6X'd, because why not? Now again, Captains, we're going all out. We're going all out here, and that's why we're doing the Elite Argala on this particular run. So here we go for the 4 weapons for the quantum look. Again, that's usually like the kind of the whitish quantum torp, bluish. So keep that in mind. To start off things here, we're going to use the wide angle quantum torpedo launcher with the arc mod, crit damage 3. This we got from any version of the Sovereign you get. The quantum phase torpedo, we're going to use this one. This is from the mission Sunrise. Free torpedo, all you gotta do is play the mission. Easy peasy. Quantum damage. I almost forgot we had this torpedo. It's the Elite Fleet Dranur Quantum Torpedo. You get this from your fleet colony. So what it actually does is your weapon attacks cause enemy shields to receive increased damage here, but also its actual... Here, there you go. It actually gives you a little bit of a heal when you fire this particular quantum torpedo. Where's the... Where says that here? Torpedoes restores. There you go. So 10% chance restores 745 shield regen increased by crit severity. Restores 745.3 hit points increased by crit severity. Those other things there, the text that you see is all from the bonuses that traits that is boosting the ship here. But what we want to do is just use the quantum. So full quantums up in the 4 weaponry. And of course the phaser, we got the agony phaser beam array. It looks like a regular phaser, so we're just using this one. Again, reroll to crit DM damage 4. This is from the exchange I got years ago. Space set, nothing too different. Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector from your fleet colony. The prevailing innovative impulse engines from your competition rep. Mycelial Harmonic Matter Antimatter Core. And Tilly's Review Pending Modified Shield, both from the Discovery rep. The aft weapons, we just loaded it up with photon torpedoes here. We will be flying around like a headless chicken. The photon torpedo launcher, crit DM damage 3 with the spread mod, because why not? I just got this off the exchange, captains. Prolonged engagement photon torpedo, we got this as an event reward, but you can get this from the Phoenix prize pack, I believe, at a very rare tier. Photon torpedo launcher, crit DM damage 4, just got this off the exchange. And we're going to use a Trilithium enhanced omnidirectional phaser beam. This actually gives you a chance to gain some weapon haste. And of course, that's nothing bad. And of course, this is going to be emulating and paired with the phaser in the 4 to emulate its many phaser banks. So it's going to be firing 2 phasers at a time, again, to just kind of go over the 20 odd phaser arrays that it says it has. But this, of course, gives us a chance to gain 10% fire cycle haste for energy weapons. Devices is what we got going on. Red matter capacitor, temporal negotiator, and we have the, of course, Torp Candy, plus 30% bonus projectile damage, 20 seconds. Subspace field modulator, and Delta Alliance reinforcements beacon, because this is the command ship. So we're going to try to also use that in the theme, because this is a command ship. It's going to all make sense. Well, at least in my head, at least in Triz's head. Consoles, here we go. We got the timeline stabilizer. Now this, captain, is sort of a weird console. This is part actually of the set for the flagships from the Federation, KDF, I believe, as well, and the Romulan. Now, when it comes to this scimitar and I think just this one, my apologies, guys, but this ship actually came from the Krenum Science Vessel, which was an event reward. So you can't really get this console right now unless you participated in that event. But it's a good console, and like I said, it's part of the flagship technologies. So what does it do? Plus 15% cooldown reduction on Science Bridge officer abilities. That is the passive ability. But when you click this, an area effect. Oh, it's to the foe, it's minus speed, minus turn, and then recharge the self. Minus recharge, but then the self, it's plus recharge, plus firing rate. For the self, 15 to 30% fire cycle haste for all weapons. 2 to 4% bridge officer and captain ability recharge time reduction every second. Foe increases recharge times on abilities by 50 to the foe, reduces impulse speed by 50% to the foe, reduces turn by 75%. So there you go. And here you go. Again, we're using all the consoles that came with this and is part of this set here. First one up is the Work Bees. Sure, we're going to use the Work Bees. Deploy Work Bees. This came with the ship. This set is part of the set Enhanced Engineering Systems, 3 of 3. So, consoles that it's part of is the Chevron Separation, Aquarius Escort, and Work Bees. So what does the Work Bees do in this set here? So the second one is Enhanced Engineering Systems, plus 1 flight turn rate, plus 12 energized hull plating, plus 12 Starship ablative hull plating. So it gives it a little bit more reinforcements there. Plus 12 Starship electroplasma system flow. So it improves our power transfer rate. 3, the Enhanced Chevron Separation. The bonus allows your Odyssey saucer separation to deploy its own worker bees while separated. In addition, it gains the Gravity Well 3 ability. Now, captains, you know I'm very on-screen accurate when I do all these builds. Never seen on-screen a ship shooting a Gravwell, but again, this is a game, Star Trek Online, you're going to see a Gravwell. And that's okay. That's okay. Next up here, of course, it's the chevron separation. So the saucer sep. It'll give us that. Again, came with a ship. Now the part of the set here, adaptive emergency system. This is part of the flagship technologies. So it gives us plus 19 energy damage resistance rating, plus 3.3 maximum hull capacity. But when we click it, damage and damage resistance buff. So plus 50 bonus all damage resistance rating for 30 seconds. Plus 30% bonus all damage for 30 seconds. Can't complain about that, Caps. Of course, there's the Aquarius there that we will use with this. But going on with the flagship technology sets. Next one up here is the plus 90% directed energy damage for its passive. But the fleet weapon acceleration, when you click this, plus firing cycle rate, plus turn, plus flight speed. So 33% fire cycle haste for energy weapons for 15 seconds. 50% turn rate for 15 seconds. 50% flight speed, 15 seconds. That is awesome. Next up here is the dampening wave emitter. Plus 15% maximum shield capacity is its passive. There's also an area effect here, radiation dot, damage, debuff, and disable. So to foe, 1,577.9 radiation damage every 1 second for 15 seconds. The foe minus 80% energy damage 15 seconds. The foe disable for 7.5 seconds. So why not? Now continue on with the theme here. We're going to use opening salvo. One of my favorite consoles, captains, you know that. This comes from the Tier 6 Titan. Gives us improved critical hit chance with weapons, but when you fire this, it takes shield down, so that's not too shabby. We're also going to use this, though, the Tri-Cobalt Tear Launcher. When you fire this, it looks like 5 quantum torpedoes firing. That's why I'm going to use this. But it also gives us 47.5 Starship Shield Pen, so not that bad. This comes from your Appalachian Blockade Runner or the Tier 6 Steam Runner. It also gives you plus 19% mine and torpedo damage. We're going for the torpedo damage here. Captains, when you see this fire, it's going to be insane. It's going to look very pretty, I promise you, if you haven't seen it yet. We're going to use the Emulating Phaser Lance. So we're going to use this as a beam overload look, kind of in my head. So a very overcharged phaser beam attack. So this gives us plus 15.8% phaser damage and then plus 43.8 Starship Shield Pen. This comes from your Deimos Pilot Destroyer, which you can get from your event campaign. Captains. We're also going to use the Point Defense Bombardment Warhead, staple of most of the builds, or if not all the builds that we've done, plus 25% projectile damage, so that's going to help a little bit. Plus 1% critical chance. This comes from any version of your NX. And then, of course, we're going to use the Dynamic Power Distributing Module. This comes from your Prototype Dreadnought, aka the Atlas, which you can also get from your event reward. Using it for this plus 11.3 all damage resistance rating, plus 19% directed energy damage. When you click this bad boy for 20 seconds, plus 40% bonus damage while above 80% hull. Plus 100 bonus damage resistance rating, plus 500% hull regen. Great oh crap button. But the 2-piece of this gives us plus 33% phaser damage for energy weapons. So it's going to help our 2 phasers, but again, going for the look, this is going to look like it has a lot of phasers firing, in my opinion. And the hanger, we're going to actually use a hanger this time, but we're going to use a Dunabe runabouts. I'm using this one because it has phaser array, microphoton torpedoes, and charger beam 1, because why not? In that video, actually, it does actually say it has the other type of Yellowstone, but I don't have that. This is the closest one I have to it. So there you go. That is the build. Now, stat-wise, we are running with 38.6% crit chance and 155.8% crit severity. Keep in mind, captains, that my Pendevers are ranked to 600, not maxed. As I mentioned in one of the videos here on the YouTube bridge, that there is a problem with spending the 150. So for now, I'm not going to spend it, but we were doing fine before. We should do fine now. Keep that in mind. So for our skills, we're using, of course, primary intel, secondary temp ops. traits, this is what we have working with here. We're going to use a good day to die, superior projectile training, and of course, just because this is the flagship of Star Trek Online, we're going to use Inspirational Leader. Kinetic Precision, Adaptive Offense, Resonating Payload Modification, Unconventional Systems, Terran Targeting Systems, Intelligent Agent Attaché, the Boimler Effect. Flagship traits is what we're going with. We're going to use Assault Formation Theta, one of my favorite traits, captains. This gives us an additional high yield 3 when we use Attack Pattern Omega. This trait particularly comes off of the legendary Tliss. We like using that a lot. Ceaseless Momentum, Entwined Tactical Matrices, Universal Designs. We're going to use Carrier Wave Shield Hacking, and we're going to pair it with Super Weapon Ingenuity to increase the duration of our beam overload. Just because in my mind in the video there it was using beam overload, hence also the Emulating Phaser Lance, which is in my mind a super beam overload, because beam overload is best. What? Base Reputation, Omega Kinetic Shearing, Advanced Targeting Systems, Torpedo Pre-Fire Sequence, Precision, Tyler's Duality, and Active Space Rep, Anti-Time Entanglement Singularity, Biomolecular Shield Generator, Deploy Sensor Interference Platform, Quantum Singular Manipulation, and Refractoring Tetron Cascade. Our stations is what we did, left, right, top to bottom. Went Chemosite Lace Weaponry. We're going to have Torpedo High Yield 2. One of my favorite torpedo powers is High Yield 2 because when you use this power, it fires 3 torpedoes. And we see that a lot in Star Trek on screen. But we pair this, of course, with using Attack Pattern Omega with the Assault Formation Theta trait. We're going to be doing back-to-back high yields. And yes! Sorry. We're going to use Beam Fire at Will and Beam Overload. Now, I know these two are going to probably cancel each other out and or have a very similar cooldown, but that's okay. We're going to manually trigger to ensure that we get Beam Overload 1 because this is a build that is themed from what we saw. So we're going to use both. Cannon Scatter Volley. So Attack Pattern Omega 1, here you go. And this is, again, going to grant us a high yield 3 when we use it. And it's also going to give us all those buff goodness there for 15 seconds. Bonus, 15% bonus all damage. So the 175.6% flight speed and turn rate. And 22.5 damage resistance rating. 27 defense rating. So this is going to help us as well. And it gives us another additional torpedo attack. Mercy powered engines. Emit Unstable Warp Bubble. Concentrate Firepower 3. Yes! We're going to take advantage of this is a full command ship. And we're also going to be calling Mercy Artillery 3. So again, we're going to pair that with all the other pets we got going on here. The Aquarius, the Saucer, the Dunabay, the Work Bees, and the Delta Reinforcement. So this is going to be a lot of eye candy, captains. So Tractor Beam, Scramble Sensors, and Photonic Shockwave. Onto our dupes, we go to our dupes. Nothing too different here on the ground, of course. Neil Falconer will give us increased damage versus the Berg when we pew-pew them. But Elder Malikatan gives us increased damage versus all. For the active space, this is what we got going on here. So we have an Energy Weapon Officer here. A chance for Beam Overload to cause all attacks against the targets to gain 30% shield pen. That's why we're using that. We have 3 projectile weapons officers here. Okay, all of them give us a chance to stack crit severity when we fire projectiles. We have Emergency Con Holographic Officer here. Recharges evasive maneuvers when emergency powered engines is used. And the last one here, we have another Energy Weapons Officer for a chance to stack crit chance when we fire energy weapons. So there you go, captains. That is the build. We're going to put this on Elite. And then head into an Elite Argala and see how it does. Captains, keep in mind, this is just for fun. Just like all the previous 9 Star Trek Day theme builds that we've done, this is just for fun, just to give tribute to all the wonderfulness that is Star Trek. So keep that in mind, Captains. Here we go. Into an elite Argala we go. Let's see how we do.
Tactical alert.
Ooh.
Vessel approaching, bearing 184, Mark 7.
Let's do this, Caps. Close us off. Lead here, let's see how it does. Yes! Look at that goodness, Caps. Working like a charm. Ooh, and we get our beam overload. Yes! That looks amazing, Captains. Let's go. This next group, full buff. And we're now going to launch everything. Aquarius, work bees. When we have a chance, we're going to go saucer set. So torpedo launchers. Yes! Let's call some reinforcements here. Delta Reinforcement Alliance. This is the flagship of Star Trek Online, and it is pew-pewsing beautifully. Woo. It's beautiful, Captains. This build came out better than I thought, to be honest with you. For me. I just gotta put that there. I've always kind of wanted to do a quantum-ish heavy build, and this is just doing swimmingly. And there's our beam overload. See, it looks like quantum launchers. Yes! Get this one over here. Now let's release once again. Call this one back. Call the Aquarius back. Launch that. Do a saucer set. Oh my Captains, this is just ridiculous. I love it. Oh, let's get some aft photons fired, shall we? Ah, just cause. That looks so good. Sorry. How can you not love Have 2 Defiance being called as well? So beam overload here. Try Cobalt Tail Launcher. Yes! Have to work your bees out here, because why not? Oof. Use that. Oh my gosh, the pews. It's so good. The pews is so good, Caps. The pews! Yes! Got our photons in there as well. Woo, last group, alright. Let's recall the saucer section. And let's finish this last group off. And it's fully buff as well. Woo. Tractor beam, no shields for you. Yes, the beam overload, yes! And the torp goodness, let's go, torp candy.
Excellent. We'll send over a pacification party. Take the suspect
Oh,
into
that was so good, captains. That was really good. Yes, all right, let's go over here, captains, for our shelfies.
Thank you for your
Excuse me, sir, 1 second. If captains, if you don't know what that is, those are our ship selfies that we take here on the bridge nightly. Oh, that was absolutely awesome. So let's find an angle here, of course, that we show off this beautiful ship here known as the Enterprise F. And there you go. Let's get the nacelles in there. Actually, I like the nacelle action. Yes. There you go. So captains, there is the Enterprise F. Just giving you some beautiful shots. And that is how it did. Again, captains, keep in mind, this is for fun. I would not be doing this if I was not having fun. But also, as I've said many times here on the YouTube Bridge, we do this because we want to share our love for Star Trek Online / Star Trek. And doing this turned out better than I thought. And I'm glad we are doing these Star Trek Day tribute videos because they have been so fun to do. Captains, thank you so much for checking it out. We got 2 more ships left. 2 more ships left. We're going to keep going until we get it done. Again, Part 10, the Enterprise F, the flagship of Star Trek Online. This is how it did. So glad we are doing this again. I'm just ranting at this point because I'm just so excited. I do have a smile on my face, but captains, go check out the other vids that we did there. This is how this one did. It is a great ship. We got this from the 10th anniversary bundle. Still one of our #1 highly recommended bundles against Star Trek Online. But I'll stop ranting there, captains. You know how excited I am. I can't even barely talk. Like the video, comment below, tell us what you think of the Odyssey / Yorktown or whatever variant you like in Star Trek Online. Subscribe to the YouTube Bridge. 2 more videos, captains, that we're going to do for Star Trek Day tributes. But as always, we will leave it on this note.
Don't let them promote you. Don't let them transfer you. Don't let them do anything that takes you off the bridge of that ship, because while you're there, you can make a difference.